Hello, senior high school staff. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about emerging challenges of cyberbullying. So, first and foremost, what is cyberbullying? I use a couple different sources to combine a kind of cumulative definition, and I would come up with cyberbullying is bullying using technology to harass, humiliate, or threaten through mean comments, online rumors, even sexual remarks, and they're usually connected with appearance, intelligence, race, or sexuality. Again, I use several resources to build out kind of this definition. And do want to point out that it uses technology to be cyberbullying. So this is going to be cell phones, internet, social media, applications, online gaming, those types of pieces to get to the cyber aspect of bullying. There are some forms of cyberbullying that we really need to watch out for. Exclusion can become a form of cyberbullying, intentionally leaving someone out of online activities, conversations, or groups. Um, and this can be done in a variety, in many ways. And it could lead to harassment, sustained or intentional bullying, compressed of abusive or threatening messages. Outing is another one that we often wouldn't think about, but it's publicly humiliating a child or group by posting private information without consent. We may not think of it, but when we see it, we would know it. Cyber stalking is another. Harassment through online communications like email or instant messaging. Fraping is new to me in this idea, but it was in the Kaspersky article, and it was logging into someone's social media, impersonating them, and posting inappropriate content. Another would be creating fake profiles. So they're creating fake profiles to hide identity and then to cyberbully or harass another person. So this is a profile that would be created to hide the person. Nobody would know who they are, but they'd use it to bully others. Dissing can become cyberbullying by sending or posting cruel content or media to damage reputations or friendships. This could be simple things like a tweet, or it could be photos, videos, memes, any type of thing used to try to damage any other person's character, view to others. Trickery is another, gaining the trust to then post private or secret information. So this is um, getting getting to a point where a child would trust another person, and then that person would violate that trust by sharing some of their information. Trolling could be another one, provoking a response through social media with the use of insults and personal attacks. And lastly, catfishing, stealing online identities to recreate profiles for deceptive purposes. So when you look at some of the problems of cyberbullying, and we can be really frank, such as a Holiday article that says these are damaging consequences, everything from a decline in academic performance to thoughts about suicide. Um, Holiday also said that it heightens instability and hopelessness in adolescents' minds. Um, Hinduja said that it can be a continuum ranging from isolated, trivial, and innocuous incidents to serious and enduring torment. And Fraser said that cyberbullying is spreading around the world, and anyone can become a target. It also reaches beyond a school to home and everywhere else. But I think the Jaroskovich article probably stated it best as victims experience low self esteem, social anxiety, suicidal thoughts, alcohol, drug abuse, eating disorders, poor school performance, and much more. Some serious issues can occur from cyberbullying, and we need to be on the watch out for all of these types of things and changes in behavior with our students. So, who are the targets of cyberbullying? So, this is what comes out from the Jaroskovich article stating that the most common targets for cyberbullying are children, where it said 6% of boys and 15% of girls reported being bullied online. Young adults, 41% of older girls reported some form of online harassment. 7 out of 10 people experience cyberbullying before age 18. 60% of young people have witnessed peer being bullied. 70% of a 20,000 student poll reported having rumors about themselves online. And in the LGBT community. In this teen community, 58% have reported hate speech and 35% have reported online threats. So children, young adults, particularly females, and the LGBTQ community have all seen themselves as primary targets of cyberbullying. The United States Department of Education did a little research in this 2019 article. They looked at the years 2010, 2016 in comparisons, uh, and seen that daily, weekly cyberbullying reported increased by 4% in those 6 years, monthly increased by 5.5%, and occasional cyberbullying increased by 9%. The never category for cyberbullying decreased by 18.6% in comparison. So, one of the thoughts that goes into this idea is that maybe there should be a cell phone prohibition within schools. And this is something that we, are going to be experiencing here. But with the U.S. Department of Education research, it states that across all schools, 65.8% prohibited the use of cell phones. In those prohibited schools, uh, there was a 16.4% higher rate of cyberbullying than schools who allowed students to have their phones on them. And this research extended through all demographics that the United States Department of Education looked at as for race and ethnicity. So we gotta ask, how should schools react? And Hinduja, in his article, um, you know, put this within a summary. It says overall, U.S. courts have oriented towards supporting First Amendment rights to free expression of students. Certain expressions, however, are not protected and allow intervention and discipline, including those that one, substantially or materially disrupt learning; two, interfere with the educational process or school discipline; three, utilize school-owned technology to harass; or four, threaten other students or infringe on their civil rights. So, what we've looked at historically, we can pull up tons of court cases, but what we're really looking at is that First Amendment rights stand open unless there's a disruption of learning, it interferes with the educational process or with school discipline, it uses school technology to be complete, or it threatens other students or infringes on their civil rights. And of course, this could also be expanded to, if it threatens administration or staff, teachers, anybody within the school, because that could be disruptive to the learning environment. But we have to look at that, and there's a critical lens to also go through you know, uh, is it truly disrupting? And a lot of the court cases got to the point where they had to debate these things out: is what was the disruption and where was it taking place? In USD 240, we have several instances within our policy manual from the board and in the student handbook that we look at that mention the bullying plan. The USD 240 bullying plan can be seen here. Bullying means any intentional gesture or any intentional written, verbal, electronic, or physical act that either or threat either by any student, staff member, or parent towards or by any student, staff member, or parent towards a staff member that is sufficiently severe, persistent, or pervasive that it creates an intimidating, threatening, or abusive educational environment that a reasonable person under circumstances knows or should know will have the effect of harming a student or staff member, physically or mentally, damaging a student or staff member's property, placing a student or staff member in reasonable fear or harm, place a student or staff member in reasonable fear of damage to the student or staff member's property. Bullying also includes cyberbullying. Cyberbullying means bullying by use of electronic communication devices through means including but not limited to email, instant messaging, text messages, blogs, mobile phones, pagers, online games, and websites. This could be added and should be added probably to include social media and other applications. But again, it says not limited to. So we do have a clear bullying plan, and it does include a section for cyberbullying. So we're well ahead on some of these pieces, and we have a good outline of what some of the effects outlined would see. So this just kind of expands. We have this basic writing in a couple different sections where it says the Board of Education prohibits bullying in any form by a student, staff member, or parent, and that the administration shall propose the board and the board shall review and approve a plan to address bullying prohibited wherein. Um, and the plan shall include provisions for the training and education of staff members. This is key. This is why we have a bullying intervention video in our staff training at the beginning every year. It's actually very important because it's in our policy manual that we have to abide by these things. And the bottom paragraph mentions staff members who partake in bullying others. Uh, and that could end up in disciplinary action, suspension, termination, or if it's severe enough, be reported to local law enforcement. So this is essentially the same clip, but it applies to students. As we can see at the bottom, or in the second paragraph here, the administration shall propose and the board shall review and approve a plan to address bullying as prohibited herein. The plan shall include provisions for training and education of staff members and students, and shall include appropriate community involvement as approved by the board. So this is why sometimes we have speakers come in throughout the year and talk about bullying and some of those pieces. It provides some of these educational opportunities that have been approved. And the last paragraph, kind of the same as it had for staff, but for students who bullied others in violation of the policy are subject to suspension or disciplinary action, suspension, expulsion, and law enforcement if necessary. So this is the cut from our student handbook. And again, it mentions training for education staff members and students. Uh, and the part where it says that it is prohibited to bully. In the student handbook, it does not mention cyberbullying directly, but that is lumped in with our bullying based on definition. And this is a level 3 infraction in our discipline matrix, starting at 3 to 5 days of after hour detention, and it could end up in out of school suspension. So, in our acceptable use guidelines, there is a period of peace. We've talked about acceptable use before with our electronic devices. The last line of our acceptable use guidelines from the board policy does state the school district shall instruct students regarding appropriate online behavior, including cyberbullying. And this also helps to meet other requirements. Uh, we also have a statement about parents who participate, and that proper reaction will be taken if parents are participating in that. So as I mentioned, that education plan fits into the Children's Internet Protection Plan, or CIPA. As we can see here, one of the goals is policy USD 240 to take the following technological protection and other specified measures in order to better protect our district students from harmful online or electronically transmitted contents. And one of our goals there that I pulled out says educate students about appropriate online behavior, including interacting well with others on social networking websites and in chat rooms, as well as on cyberbullying awareness and response. So we do take that responsibility serious. We do try to provide appropriate, well-rounded education every single year as a reminder to use cyberbullying and prevention of it. Here are some resources in case you guys were wanting to take a look for yourselves. Thank you. Let's continue to practice and prevent the negative impacts of cyberbullying.